out of this room.
What was that?
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday Night Scream Stream Mini-sodes. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink. How are we doing tonight, Evan?
Good evening. I'm great. I'm coming to you live from the McDonald's Play Place.
Oh, live from the Play Place? Are you getting one of these brand new Halloween buckets that they're starting to give out? These retro Halloween buckets?
Yeah, I'm just here for the Wi-Fi, and it turns out that they don't actually have the playground anymore. So
you're telling me they got rid of the playground?
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. It's also a little cold out here, but hey,
yeah,
what can you do?
The chill is in the air. It's coming on full force. So I woke up, looked out my window this morning. There was frost all over the ground. I was shocked. I couldn't believe, what is it? It's the 19th of October. I'm like, all right, I guess we're in the thick of things. We're in the
More like 19 degrees.
If it might as well be. Once you get below 55, I'm gonna be shivering and freezing the whole time. So, but you know, I love this time of year. This is the best time of year. It's spooky season. We are in the thick of it, and I couldn't be happier. Well, okay, I will be honest. I do wish that some of this.
Let's walk that back a little bit. Walk that back.
Yeah, I got to, because every year, you know, I have the same gripe, I think, which is complaining about what they're showing on TV. They're not always showing the best selection of horror movies, and this year's no different. But I feel particularly slighted by Turner Classic Movies this year for some reason, because they seem
to have
an
unoptimized lineup this year.
Pretty much not geared toward anybody that would be interested in. I mean, like, one night a week they're playing some okay horror movies. They're more obscure. It's nothing like genre defining or groundbreaking. They've got like a guy that's curating it, and good on him. No, like, you know, they've got an interesting group of films, but it's just not your classic TCM.
It's the scraps. It's just what was lying around on the floor.
It's the scraps. It definitely is. It's definitely some interesting stuff. But I mean, Turner Classic Movies, you might as well be wall to wall with all the wonderful, wonderful classic horror movies that are out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because that's what we get on this show on Friday nights. We mostly ugly, but we get to check it all out. And
more like turn those classic movies off.
Seriously,
and,
you might
switch to Scream Stream.
Watch us instead. Without a doubt, we're gonna be serving up the most fun classic horror on your Friday nights, and here on your Wednesday nights, a little television classic horror starring Boris Karloff. We've been watching The Veil.
Did you say Hellivision?
Did I say Hellivision? It might as well be Hellivision. It's certainly scary enough. Tonight's episode might as well be from Hellivision. Jack the Ripper is the title of tonight's episode. It's it's true crime is another thing that's
everybody's on
now.
That serial killer kick right now. Even Karloff.
Even Karloff had to get on the true crime craze at some point, and who can blame him? Well, though, I will say, though, he must have felt some kind of moral responsibility. He didn't want to be too crass because he decided not. Well, I don't know if he decided, but spoiler alert, he does not actually appear in a role in tonight's episode. He has his host segments, and that's it. So this is the first episode we've been watching this show. This is the 11th episode of The Veil that we've watched, and this is the first time that Karloff will not be acting in the show itself. So kind of
missed this one.
Yeah,
he's an off-screen victim of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and say that before Jack the Ripper started killing all his prostitutes, he had some kind of mentor.
He killed this one old man.
This old man mentor that showed him the ways of the scalpel. And once he had learned everything he needed to learn, he said, "All right, man, old man, it's time to die." But they decided to cut all that. They said this is a 30-minute show. You just got to get rid of it. So unfortunately,
he said, "Look, I don't know about all this backstory stuff. I don't think we need to humanize this guy too much."
No. We don't need to. Certainly don't need to give him any more, lend him any more sympathy than he already get. Well, that's the crazy thing about true crime is there's always people out there who are sympathetic to the. Well, again, and that's the beauty of horror movies, TV. This idea of sympathizing with the monster, but true crime's a little icky. It's. Movies, it's when you're talking about an actual monster, like, well, a figured, well, I guess an actual monster in the movies, and then in real life, it's a figurative monster because it's a person who is doing horrific things.
So Smack's a little different.
It does.
Everybody's been watching Dahmer lately.
Yes.
I think they've been catching a little bit of a little bit of heat for that same reason.
Yeah, it's definitely anytime that you're gonna trudge up over 3 decades old true crime case and kind of exploit certain details, you're just opening yourself up to criticism. And it's, I mean, that's always been the criticism about true crime in the last couple of years is tell an original story, but I mean, there will always be this urge to dramatize these real life horrific crimes, and that's what we're going to see tonight on tonight's episode of The Veil. They felt the need to delve into it, delve into this true crime case, albeit in its own particular way. This show has a particular way of doing things that we've seen so far. There's always a bit of some kind of paranormal twist to the episodes.
Okay.
Right?
So Jack the Ripper was a ghost the whole time. That's why he was never caught.
Could be, right.
Could be. I might have just blown the cover off this whole thing.
You might have. Well, and that's the beauty of of this whole thing is, even though we're getting a historical story and some true crime, you're bringing an element you don't often see with this particular story, Jack the Ripper. You're bringing a paranormal element, so it's kind of cool. And it's, again, that's actually the whole thing about The Veil as a show in the first place, is that all of these stories are supposed to be based on fact, but this is the only one we've actually heard of, so should be fun. I remember it vaguely. I feel like I've seen this one more than I've saw some of the other ones growing up, and it's fun from what I remember.
And at least when this one ends with Karloff coming back out and saying, well, that's about it, we don't really know how it ended, at least we can say we saw this one coming.
Right, yes, exactly. We're not going to be super surprised.
Don't get your hopes up, people. We're not pulling the mask off Jack the Ripper this time.
No, certainly not.
Or maybe we are. I don't know how liberal they're going to go with it.
We'll see. They certainly get creative. Again, it's kind of interesting in that Karloff's not in it. It gives it a different focus, I guess, because in some of these other episodes, when Karloff isn't the main character, when he does show up, it almost kind of not breaks the fourth wall a little bit, but it kind of like takes you out of the story.
He comes in the room and you're
like, it's Karloff.
You know it's him.
Yeah. It kind of takes you out of the story a little bit. So without him as a, for lack of a better word, distraction, I think we can focus on this story a little different from how we have on these past episodes. So,
I think I kind of have a problem with that with any actor that gets too famous. Like, your DiCaprio's, your Tom Hanks, anytime they walk into the scene, I'm instantly reminded, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it's sometimes the personality outshines the character, which, that's a fine line between the personality being perfect for the character and then actually outshining it. And, it's always the risk that the really good actors are going to run. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the new Addams Family show. Have you seen that?
Which one? There's a few Addams Family properties coming out.
Well, there's a brand new show called Wednesday, which is produced or executive produced by Tim Burton. He directs like a couple episodes, I think, not all of them. And guess who plays Uncle Fester?
I know who plays Uncle Fester.
Did you see it?
I have seen the trailer.
What did you think about that?
I was delighted.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty fun up until that point, but if I was gonna watch, that for any reason, it would probably be because Fred Armisen is in it.
He's a great actor, a lot of fun.
Great pick for Fester.
Yeah, he always brings a sense of mischief to every role that he plays, but it definitely seems well suited to.
Got that energy.
Yeah, he definitely does. So I'll be interested to see. I don't know if that's out yet, but I'll be interested to see how that goes over. If he outshines it, or if he is kind of, because he does kind of. I mean, it's been a while since he was on SNL, but certainly on SNL, he had a tendency to kind of ham it up and kind of outshine the material with just him being himself.
Right.
And so we'll see. I mean,
he's definitely him.
And also, for fans out there of Documentary Now, the other one of Fred Armisen's shows, it's coming back, I think this week for its 4th season. I think 4th. And
wait, what are you talking about?
Documentary Now. It's back for a 4th season, starring Fred Armisen. He's not in every episode like he used to be, but he's in a couple, and he still produces it and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's back on IFC this week, and so I'm very excited to check that out. It's a really ridiculous fun show. Again, if you're a fan of old 20th century pop culture BS, then you would love it.
I feel like the target audience for that particular show is a little narrow. People who like and recognize specific documentaries,
Yes.
but also are into parodies of that.
Yeah, it is a very narrow window of fandom for sure. But I mean, that's the thing. If you've seen the documentaries, it just makes it.
Yeah, I think there's maybe that's just the Fred Armisen style. You know, there was a unaired SNL skit where he is Ira Glass. That, like, you know, the Venn diagram of people who find that funny. You know, I'm in there. I thought it was hilarious, but you know, I get why they didn't air that one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, and that's what I mean about him kind of like outshining the material, right? It's like sometimes it can be funny just because of what he's doing, not necessarily like what the writers probably thought that this is the joke, this is why it's funny, and then it's kind of like, oh, that sketch really wasn't that funny, but what he was doing, you know, was funny, and if you get the joke, you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
fair.
Anytime it gets niche, it's hard to justify. But that's the beauty of a show like Documentary Now, is it's just totally justifying the niche. You know, that kind of niche. What's the word? I keep wanting to say inkling, or I'm thinking inkling, but that's not right. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Inclination. No, that can't be right. Regardless, good stuff. But yeah, so, and again, documentaries, you know, making fun of them, much like true crime. You know, it's all it's all kind of capitalizing on reality and kind of how sometimes reality is crazier and wilder than anything that you can come up with in a movie or a TV show. So we'll see. Is tonight's episode of The Veil gonna be able to I keep wanting to say outclass, but that doesn't seem right either. Outclass the real Jack the Ripper story? Who knows? We're about to find out.
Stranger than fiction.
Certainly stranger than fiction. All right. Anything before we get into it, Evan?
I think I'm ready. Let's rip. Let's let her rip.
All right. Well, then we are going to let her rip, and we're going to get into Jack the Ripper right now.
It would be very good if they came into this episode and Boris Karloff just isn't here in the intro.
Right. He's gone. Well, last week we were in a totally different place. We're back with the fireplace this week. I'm happy.
The chair's just empty. It still zooms in on the fireplace for, you know, about 30 seconds, but just nobody there.
Despite the myths that we have exploded, there are still areas about which we know nothing. The world beyond our understanding, the world behind the veil. Our story tonight concerns the dark and violent circumstances surrounding one of the most famous criminals in history. George Durst was a normal citizen of his time. A man completely average in all respects.
George Durst.
Completely unremarkable.
Completely completely boring. Chartered accountant level boring.
Will give the last of his lectures on clairvoyance tonight at the Cumberland Hall.
What?
The advertisement. So discreet it's practically invisible.
I thought it was quite tasteful.
You should let me deal with that side of the business. You have no head for publicity.
I had such an odd dream last night.
Not black horses again. I couldn't stand another funeral.
It was most frightening. I wish I knew what it meant.
Good heavens, they've discovered petroleum.
This guy almost feels like
Judith,
a Karloff stand-in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were
With no
so
hair.
With no hair.
Judith, do you really believe I somehow have an ability to see into the future?
Good heavens, dear, we know you do. I mean, some people are left-handed, others have perfect pitch,
It's happened
and you
before, hasn't it? Time after time. The fire in the hotel at Bournemouth, the diphtheria epidemic.
Walter, what is it?
Judith, last night I saw murder done. Why must it happen to me? Why not someone who understands these things?
Okay, I think we've seen this one before.
No, Walter, don't be
Are we already recycling
You have
plots?
to make a living.
Oh,
Darren,
surely
and
at
I'm
this
not sure that
point,
you'll be
without
very
a
good at
doubt.
anything else.
I was so frightened last night.
Then
They
why
just
didn't
took a
you
script that
wait
was already lying
First
around,
time
changed a
I didn't
couple
like.
names and locations, and
Just after I went to sleep, the most odd feeling.
Well, we couldn't decide whether we wanted it to
Something were
be
trying to
about
get inside my head. Something
about
probing. And then
what was it, killing your brother?
Never heard before.
right, yeah, that's what it was.
Mystic.
Or Jack the Ripper.
Buildings all blurred. And then, all at once, it came quite clear. I was walking along a darkened alley in the East End. There was no sound. I could hear nothing but my own breathing. I wanted to save the woman, and at the same time I knew I couldn't stand to see what was happening.
Watch those hands, mister.
Yeah, seriously.
Suddenly
Ooh,
I
weird.
found myself outside some horrible drinking house. I remember hearing the ticking of a clock. I knew it was important to see the time.
This
My
fucking
body
hand.
floated as though it were no more than this. And the light at the corner of the lane seemed to draw me to it. I felt as if something were guiding me, begging me to look up.
Do you
at
think
the
that's
street
Karloff?
sign.
You think that's his cameo?
Yep, it was just his
I
hand.
saw it quite clearly.
No, Karloff's hands are much more bony and
I wish I knew what it all meant.
Monstrous.
yeah.
Darling, why should it mean anything? Suppose it's
Although
just
he's
ordinary
not one of
nightmare
those
after
like
what they had
Lugosi
last
is one of
night.
those actors like who could act with his hands. I don't think Karloff was as skilled with his hands,
In the early hours
honestly.
of this morning,
Like you look at a picture of
returning to his lodgings in Whitechapel,
Karloff
he
getting out of
saw
out of a coffin, and you look at a picture of Lugosi getting out of a coffin, and one is putting a lot more pageantry into it than the other.
Karloff's like, well, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. I mean, Lugosi's just like in the way he spreads out his fingers and the, you know, way he's.
I don't
know.
Just before
It's great.
8:30. The police surgeon has stated that in addition to the throat wounds which caused death, the body had been almost completely.
Does it say where it happened?
Ooh.
Yes. The body was found in Bucks Row. The doctor also stated that in his opinion, the crime had been committed by somebody with considerable knowledge of surgery.
Yes, the surgeon's knife, the scalpel.
Moreover, it was the same person who brutally murdered Martha Turner 3 weeks ago on the night of August the 7th.
Have they? Someone has to have made something about it, like a clairvoyant detective or something, right?
Oh,
you've got to go
yeah.
to the police.
Without a doubt.
There can't be any motive for killing these terrible men. The man is
I'm trying to
probably mad.
think. I feel like I
Don't you
know.
see
I
there may be
know
more?
something,
Oh,
but
I
it's
got it. That's so Raven.
Oh my God, get out.
You could go to the police and tell them that Gwen and Claire are killing them.
No,
It's the gritty reboot.
Walter, that is a disgraceful attitude. The seeing of justice done isn't merely the business of the police. It's the responsibility of every member of the community. Why, it might mean the saving of countless young lives.
Oh, they were hardly young.
Walter, it is your duty to go to the police.
Wow.
I don't want to get involved.
Wow.
This is too much.
They were hardly young. Way to hit them when they're down, bro.
Think of the publicity.
I don't really care. They deserved it.
Disdain in his voice. Yeah, exactly. What an asshole.
Oh, good morning. I want to see someone about the Whitechapel murders.
What connection?
Well, it's rather a personal matter. I'd prefer to see whoever's in charge of the case.
Right, the name, sir?
Please don't think I'm crazy, but I'm clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant?
Yes? You're new, aren't you? I beg your pardon?
You haven't been in before?
No.
Well, Inspector McWilliam's in charge of the case. I'll tell him you're here. Let's see if you don't mind waiting a while. All those people have a lot of money, sir. Brought them all out today. Jim, one arm.
All right, yeah, go sit with the others.
She can tell
Oh, you're a clairvoyant? Get in line.
Jack the Ripper.
Well, that's what the newspapers have tagged him. Oh, we have them all, sir, especially on a case like this.
But, Constable, I assure you I didn't come here because of any reward. Last night in a dream, I saw the exact circumstances of the Bucks Row murder. Several hours before it occurred. The time, the place, everything.
Yeah, I've heard it all before.
Nice, sensible sort of gent. You know, the wife had the same trouble. Wake me up in the middle of the night, she would, just to tell me about these here dreams, so I got her some stuff called slumber pills. Only a cheap medicine, you know, but efficacious. Very efficacious. Never had any more trouble with her since.
Thank you, Constable. I assure you will have no more trouble.
Never had any more trouble with my wife because she OD'd on sleeping pills.
Wow, wonderful.
I wish to see someone about Jack the Ripper. My little girl has some information I know will prove it valuable. It happened yesterday afternoon during my usual Tuesday school.
Yeah, I can understand why the cop was so, like, dismissive now.
Swirl of orange ectoplasm. A ghastly grinning face beard.
Charlatans! Charlatans!
Yeah, you tell him, bro. I'd be angry too, making a mockery of my profession.
Once teeming with life after dark, now becomes silent and deserted with the setting of the sun. Children are off the streets with the beginning of nightfall. Women go nowhere.
Karloff setting the scene because there's no budget to film B-roll.
Boarded up, London becomes a city of panicking individuals. No man trusting his neighbor or friend. Newspapers demand in their boldest type the apprehension of this mad killer. The rewards mount. Every available police officer is on duty. Groups of men, self-appointed vigilante committees, hunt through dark streets and back alleys.
And back alleys?
No avail. The man they seek might well have been a ghost.
Ooh.
Thanks, Boris.
Nice.
You ever heard of Tell, Don't Show?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Oh no, it's the swirl of orange ectoplasm.
If only. Oh. So it's not only when he's sleeping, he just fucking walking around all of a sudden has this vision.
He's having daylight hallucinations.
Judith! 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 Look! Look at my hand! Look! It happened again.
Oh shit.
Quite suddenly. I saw the body. He'd cut an ear off. It was lying in the gutter. I picked it up. You see, the blood's still on my hand.
What the
I won't wipe it
fuck?
off.
Really?
They can see it at Scotland Yard. It's a manifestation. They'll have to believe me.
Ah, manifestation. That's cool. I like that.
Honey, you're just having an episode.
I saw it, though. There was a red flower in her dress. And she had a bunch of grapes. And she was still clutching the bunch of grapes.
My dear, you must eat something before you go.
Would she wipe it off?
Your blood sugar's just low.
They'd only laugh at me again.
Then we'll have our dinner and they can laugh at both of us if they want to. I'm coming with you this time.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. You tell him, honey.
First, please, thank you. 2 pennies. Yes, madam.
2
I think I've got
pennies.
some pennies. Change at Oxford Circus and take... What?
He's here. I can feel it.
Oh.
Someone quite near.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Jack the Ripper. He's here on this bus.
Ah!
Uh-oh.
Oh, I like
Because
that.
it's me. I did it.
Jack the Ripper. He's here on this bus.
All right, if there's another fade to black in the next 2 to 3 minutes. We'll take it. Take it out of here.
The man in the dream.
Regent Spock?
Walter, are you certain?
Of course.
Then we must do something. Try to find him.
It's vanishing. It's fading away.
Regent Spock?
Maybe it's that creepy looking guy in the fucking all black.
No, Judith. It's madness. It's too dangerous.
There, going into the park.
Tall, dark, and creepy.
Walter, don't stop me. Which way did he go?
I don't know. I can't feel it anymore.
Well, try. Concentrate. You must.
No use. He's gone. It just isn't there.
Oh, he's so close.
Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Besides, it would have been madness. Now, I think we ought to go and tell the police.
Tell them what?
Why, that Jack the Ripper's in the park. They might close the gates.
Walter, sometimes
I had a funny feeling.
Come on, we're going to
Good luck. You know how many scumbags you're gonna find in the park? You lock that thing up, corral those people out of
I
there.
didn't expect to see you here again, sir.
I want to see Inspector McWilliam, isn't it?
He's busy. We're trying to find someone called Jack the Ripper. Perhaps you've read about it.
The constable.
Walter, let me.
Jack the River.
Constable, today is the 30th of September.
It is.
And it may be remembered as the day that Jack the Ripper...
He dumps water on his victims.
You just stand there and do nothing to prevent it.
Ma'am, I had my orders, that's all.
But please, you must let me see the inspector now. This afternoon, I had a vision of a murder that I know is going to take place tonight. You must understand, we can stop it, otherwise the blood will be on my hands as much as...
Walter.
Chill out, honey. Don't
So
say
a
that the
woman
blood will be
found
on your
dead
hands. We're in a
tomorrow,
police
with
station.
her ear severed from the head.
Oh.
What did you say?
I saw it in the dream. The ear was lying beside her in the gutter.
Constable, this way, ma'am.
I think I know who
You're
this
under
I'm
arrest.
Inspector McWilliam.
this guy is.
What's all
Played
this about a
Inspector
dream?
McWilliam is. He
My
played
name
some
is Walter
Hammer
Durst.
horror
I'm a
movies.
professional clairvoyant. Perhaps my card will do.
Now, what did you dream?
Well, I imagined I was walking along a lane in the East End. There was a woman, her throat had been cut, and the ear was lying beside her in the gutter. It's not the first time, you see. The night that Mary Nichols was killed, I saw it just...
I feel like
as it
introducing
happened.
yourself as a
The time,
professional
the place.
clairvoyant
When did you
probably
send the
hurts
note?
your case more than helps
No,
it.
Oh,
received this
without a
morning.
doubt.
Oh, I haven't sent any note. I have been here before. The constable will
I
tell
mean,
you.
it's good
I'd
to
like a specimen
be
of your handwriting. Sit down.
you know,
Will
to embrace
my
it, but at
handwriting
the same
is supposed to
time,
do.
you gotta know
he's right.
people are gonna look at you
Just
like you're a
a few words.
maniac.
Dear old boss.
Dear old boss. I wish you'd explain.
Mr. Durst, you didn't by any chance dream the location of this murder?
No, not this time, but I'm sure
What do you mean
could
not
find-
this time?
Well, I told you, the other dream, the night that Mary Nichols was killed.
But you didn't write to us last time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-oh.
But you must believe me, Inspector. I told you that I saw it.
No one knew of this letter except the men in my office and the man who wrote the letter. Did you write this letter?
No, I didn't write it. I didn't. Judith! Judith!
You will be kept in custody until we
It's
can make further
shakedown.
investigations in the morning.
Please let me go. Don't you see what you're doing?
That's enough, come on.
But the woman, I saw what he did to her. You couldn't tell it was a human face. You could save her.
Perhaps I have.
Please let me help you.
Aye, Constable.
Well then, God help you.
Yeah, seriously. Let's take that right
that it?
there. Yeah, we'll take that right there to the break. All right, so
All
that was
right.
the first half of Jack the Ripper, and it's certainly an interesting angle to explore the story, right? This guy's seeing the murders before they happen, and now he's trying to warn the police, and then of course they think he's a wacko. Go figure.
Must have been really easy to be a psychic back in the day.
Oh, you think?
Like,
like-
I wonder how often that was really happening. Like, you know, psychics coming to the police, just bothering them.
Well, again, like in this case, it seemed like a lot of people were there because of the prospect of a reward. So I'm sure there was some truth in that there were probably a lot of people that said, oh, I have information about the murderer. I saw something. Give me the reward money, you know, and
Right. Anytime
obviously-
there's money involved. Oh yeah. I saw your missing dog. I know where it is, but you got to give me the money first.
Yeah, I mean, psychics and law enforcement, that has been a thing for, you know, It's a tale as old as time. I mean, it's still
a tale as old as Jack the Ripper. Isn't this the first, like, kind of the first, like, true crime kind of? I mean, this is like the first serial killer, right?
Yeah, this is the first kind of modern idea of a serial killer. What is this? Sweet Feet T Wake? Yeah, I see it, T Wake. He's in YouTube watching, so it's the YouTube chat. Yes, I see you there in the YouTubes. Yes, very nice. Using the YouTube. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Beauty of us multi-streaming. It's easier to watch on YouTube. If you
cross-platform.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, all over the place. Got to saturate. But yeah, I think it was really one of the first true crime cases in the modern sense of a serial killer. I mean, certainly different parts of the globe, there's different stories, but you know, as far as what was going on, I think that was like Victorian England times, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, this kind of thing was certainly happening before, but I guess
something about
this was the first one where they said we can have some fun with this.
Yeah, in a very modern way, the way that it was publicized and exploited by newspapers, and the way that the relationships between, you know, letters being sent to the police.
Is that what it is? Is it newspapers? Is it the media?
Yeah, there's a big part of it that has to do when you're talking about serial killers and true crime and all that, the relationship of the media. And I think definitely Jack the Ripper set some early kind of, you know, if not set precedents, at least established some kind of like prototypes. And so they're exploring that here through a lens of psychics,
Gutenberg,
which I'm sure was that was probably a real thing that they were dealing with. It was a bunch of fake psychics coming in saying, "I got some information," and you know, it just turns out to be bullshit. And what are you gonna do? I mean, back in that day, it was as easy as to be a psychic as you just turn off the lights. And you could jump off a chair and say you levitated, or you could shake a table with your knees, and
right, yeah,
you know,
or you just, you know, have a dream.
Right, it could be that simple.
I saw a vision late last night, and it was unrelated to the week-old ham I was eating. Stop asking.
Had nothing to do with the bad ham. Food poisoning was not a factor. I swear. Leave me alone about it. But yeah, it's certainly we'll see where this is gonna go. How's the psychic? Are they gonna finally believe him while they have him in custody? The murder's gonna happen, and then they're gonna be. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't remember. But we'll see. It's. I imagine that's what's gonna happen. You gotta appreciate the atmosphere they're trying to give to this story right now. They're trying to make it creepy, even with Karloff not being in it, which is kind of it's been interesting so far. I mean, what do you make of it so far, having him? He's doing a little bit more narrating than normal, but he's...
Yeah, he's kind of pulling overtime on the narration. I don't know. It's an interesting choice. I wonder if it was just kind of like a thing they planned, or just like a freak thing. It almost makes me like, if I didn't know already that he wasn't going to appear, you know, as a character in this episode. Exactly. Yeah, I'd be waiting.
Where's
for
Karloff?
It's the anticipation.
Right. Nope. Not happening. Not popping up. Maybe we'll get to see him narrate a little more before the end, but probably not. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. It allows you to focus a little more on this guy playing the clairvoyant and kind of his mania. So it's interesting.
His personal journey.
his personal journey. Yeah, we get to see his personal journey. Karloff's personal journey, by the way, which we've been talking about every week. We've been talking about Karloff's career, and we've been in the later stages over the past couple weeks. And so, we're still here. We're talking around 1965 right now, mid-60s. Last week, we talked about Comedy of Terrors, which was like a comedy that he did, and Black Sabbath, which was like an anthology movie that he did. And those were for a studio called American International Pictures, and the trailer that we're going to see tonight is for this break is from American International Pictures. They were the ones that kind of kept Karloff afloat in his last couple years, last like 8 years of his career. And they were very much drive-in exploitation for the kids kind of cinema. And so the trailer that we're going to see at the break is for a movie called, I think I'm getting this right, The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, I think.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. And so
is the ghost invisible too, or is this is this pre-code?
No, certainly not. This is 1965. I don't know. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. I don't understand the plot. I don't know if Karloff is an old man or he's also a ghost, or I don't know.
Oh, is he the one in the invisible bikini?
No, he's not. There's a ghost. There's a woman who plays a ghost, and she's like just in a bikini the whole time. And then like a bunch of kids come to this old haunted house. I don't know. Some weird shit. There's some fake clairvoyance stuff going on. I mean, it looks fun. It just looks really dumb. AIP was cranking out, these, they were called beach party movies in the early 60s. And so this is kind of, this isn't really a beach party movie per se. It's kind of like an offshoot, but you have some overlap as far as, you get a bunch of kids in bathing suits, and you get
it was right around the time when they realized you can have fun on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. That's all. They made like a dozen of these movies, and it's all about kids having fun at the beach, and then they usually are hiring old washed up Hollywood stars to like make cameo appearances in these films. And but Karloff's is a little more than a cameo here, just a little more, not much more. But that was kind of AIP's bread and butter in the early 60s, was the beach party movies. And so this is kind of, and they also had their horror movies, so this was kind of their attempt to kind of cross over that broad beach party comedy with your more tongue-in-cheek horror movie. So I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's any good. Probably not. But we're gonna get to see the trailer for it, so it should be fun. So we're gonna enjoy this trailer for The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the exciting conclusion of Jack the Ripper. So stick around, we will be right back.
She's the swingin'est ghost you've ever yearned for, haunting a pre-will reading seance.
I thought I made it clear to you and your wretched crew that you would dispose of everybody before I read the will.
What you have to do is to see that my rightful heirs get the money.
Yeah, man, here's one haunted house the M Gang wants to investigate.
What are all these strange people doing here?
Make the music pretty, play a happy song. Make the music pretty or I can't go on. Everybody's singing about a broken heart. Don't you know, can't you see it's tearing me apart now? Make the music pretty and I'll tell you why. Make the music pretty or you'll make me cry. Let me hear you play a happy melody. Come on and make the music pretty for me.
television repairman.
Just take a look into my eyes.
Looking for maybe Sex and the Single Ghoul? Here's a movie that has more than everything.
When you need me, Geronimo. When you want me, Geronimo. Hey baby, let's go. Geronimo, Geronimo, yeah. Geronimo,
Kids, I guess kids were big into Sinatra.
Why what big time?
Why me all the time?
But that was his daughter, Nancy Sinatra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's the Sinatra beat.
Yes, Nancy. Nancy was becoming a star in her own right at the time. So, and that's the thing. These AIP movies also kind of booked up on popular music acts of the day if they could secure them. It wasn't always easy to get big names. They weren't getting like an Elvis, but they'd get some lower level people, and
they weren't getting a Frank.
No, certainly not. They weren't even getting Frank Sinatra Jr., but they got Nancy. But that's better than nothing. But I mean, those movies were not remarkable. Again, it was, at the very least, it provided a lot of out of work Hollywood actors a chance to make a
dance by a pool
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of Scooby-Doo-esque plots of bad guys who are trying to mess something up, and there's some kind of chase sequence, and there's a lot of slapstick involved, and it's not really, again, this is post, or it might be around the same time as the Batman television show with Adam West. So, there was certainly it was in the culture at that time to be making camp comedies with old movie stars.
Camp.
Yeah, that camp for sure. That's how it's the most camp. And Evan said, which, can we watch that? And, unfortunately not public domain, but, you can tell they're having fun. I mean, it's just, that's classic mid-60s, BS. I mean, it's to make a quick buck. And the woman playing the ghost in the invisible bikini was I don't know if she was at the time, but she went on to be the girlfriend of one of the heads of the studio, American International Pictures, and he left his wife and married that actress, and it ended up like causing a big rift, and then he left the company.
Hollywood.
Yep. And then he ended up dying not long after he left the company, unfortunately. And yep, that's Hollywood, baby. But we're going back to merry old England for the exciting conclusion of Jack the Ripper. And I am certainly excited to see what this clairvoyant is going to see next. Probably another murder. But that remains to be seen. Any predictions about how you think this is going to end?
I feel like the most obvious thing is people are going to continue to die, and then they'll realize, oh wait, maybe it's not this guy who's locked in the cell.
Seems like a logical next step, right?
Yeah.
But
But I don't know.
After that,
I don't
who
know.
knows? We're about to find out. All right. So, anything before we get into it?
Jack's back.
Jack is back, and we are back, and we're getting into the exciting conclusion of Jack the Ripper right now.
What time is it? Are you still awake? The time, please. They took my watch away. Oh, I don't know. It's a bit after 1. You better get some shut-eye. Not this night. Tell Inspector McWilliam to have a good night's rest. Tomorrow he may not sleep quite so easily.
What's all this then?
What's all this then?
All right. They want to see you at the yard. Can you hear me?
All right, Jack. I don't know how you did it, but you've got some explaining to do.
God forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive them.
God damn it. The one time I throw a clairvoyant in the slammer, he turns out to be right.
And he didn't even say, I bet you didn't see this coming.
2 lives. 2 women murdered within an hour.
Oh, shit.
One in a yard at the back of Berners Street, the other in an archway off Mitre Square. Both of them hacked to pieces.
Ugh.
You were right in every detail. Every man available was on duty in the East End last night. And every suspect we had was under lock and key. It's impossible. Yet it happened. It's impossible.
But you knew.
Because Jack the Ripper is a ghost.
That's a question I've been asking myself all my life.
Nothing is impossible behind the veil.
I trust, sir, that you will accept my apologies for what happened last night. Inspector, I owe you my supreme gratitude. This was no imprisonment. It was a release.
Wow.
Until last night, I've been afraid of this gift I have. Ashamed because I was not quite normal. My wife had to have my courage and my convictions for me. Now I know this power was given to me for a purpose. Respect must be paid to it, and to me. I wish to heaven I'd believed you last night.
Yeah.
Will you dream again? Of course, I shall act immediately. We can act now.
Walter, last night?
No, this was no dream. But I can find Jack the Ripper, probably tonight.
Ooh.
This time I shan't even ask how.
Up in the
Every
States.
policeman in London is at your disposal, and that won't be necessary. Shall we meet at my house at 7 o'clock? At 7.
Nice.
I'll get him myself.
He's ready to go, man. He's got a plan. I like it.
Okay, this one's easy. Okay, honey, you need to just pose as a prostitute.
Wow. Was he just having dizzy spells? Might want to take this man to a doctor. He might have some underlying conditions. You get migraines, my guy?
This is where the Ripper lives.
Ooh.
Well, okay, I guess we have to arrest him.
G.R. Willerton, FRCS. Do we not? I don't know. I don't think we can wake them at this late hour. This is where he lives. It's incredible. A large house in Harley Street, FRCS. Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. Inspector, there's a dog lying at the foot of the stairs. Seems to be light on, sir.
Ooh. Dang.
Hagen. Hagen, be quiet. Stop barking. Yes? What is it?
We're from Scotland Yard. I'd like to speak to Mr. Willerton.
Who is it?
Ooh.
Mrs. Willerton?
Yes?
I'm Chief Inspector McWilliam, Mr. Durst. I'm sorry to disturb you so late, but we should like to ask you a few questions.
I must ask you to leave. It is very late.
Mrs. Willard, this concerns the Whitechapel murders. It would be very easy for me to get a search warrant.
The police?
Mr. Willowden?
Is that him?
My name is Hatherley. I am Mrs. Willowden's doctor. May I ask the reason for this visit?
I would like to see Mr. Willowden.
That's impossible.
Will you come into the library, gentlemen?
All right, Constable.
Oh, shit.
What?
The funeral is tomorrow.
Was I right? That's...
Yep, you're right. He was a ghost the whole time.
Okay.
When did this happen, Doctor? Cerebral hemorrhage late yesterday afternoon. You can understand why Mrs. Willowden is very distressed.
I should like to see inside.
What?
This is outrageous. I suggest you take your man and leave this house.
What the hell, bro?
Did you sign the death certificate?
Haven't you got any class?
I've never seen a dead body before.
Why did you come here?
I've always wanted to see a dead body.
Something about the Whitechapel murders. Why? I am not at liberty to say.
You think he's Jack the Ripper?
Mrs. Willowden, I'm here to ask questions, not make accusations.
This is a strange...
Did you notice anything unusual about your husband's behavior these last few weeks?
Mr. Willowden has been
I'm
ill some...
talking to Mrs. Willowden. Will you please answer my question?
You know, don't you? You know.
Myra.
Of course they know. Don't be such a fool. Why else would they have come here? They followed him. They saw the blood.
The blood.
Mrs. Willowden
The blood.
is hysterical, you understand?
What blood?
He was wearing his new coattails, wasn't he? I was standing on the stairs when he came in.
I got blood on my coattails.
Blood
God, talk
all over his
Victorian
waistcoat.
problems, right?
It doesn't matter now.
Victorian
I don't
people
want
problems.
the secret any longer.
Why didn't you tell the police?
He was my husband. I loved him very much once. He was so gentle then. Seems quite a long time ago when he had to give up the practice. It's terrible seeing
I think
the
she
change
did it.
in him.
Yep.
Maybe it's Jill the Ripper.
Get out of here with the sob story, Jill.
One day I heard Pagan screaming down here in the library. He wasn't allowed in here at all. Then I came in. He was sitting just over there, biting at his paw. There was a hat pin right through it. He used to love the dog so much, too. And there were the bats.
The bats.
You know that he paid boys off the street to catch bats for him.
This is quite
Oh
the
my
monologue.
God, yeah, she's
Bring
just
him in a
really
bag
getting
to
into
the
it.
back door. I saw once what he did with them.
Oh.
He dipped them in paraffin and lit them
Oh!
so that he could see
What?
the poor burning things go flapping round his head, and he'd clap his hands and laugh.
That's
like a
heavy
child.
metal.
That night, he began to go out.
I was gonna say, if the pitch of her voice gets any higher. Ooh,
What?
you freaking liars.
So, the funeral is tomorrow.
Yes, to all intents and purposes. The obituary notice has appeared in the Times, and a few relatives have been invited to a simple service in the morning.
Where is he, Doctor? A certificate of insanity.
Yes, Willowden was sent this morning to an insane asylum outside Edinburgh.
Wow.
May I keep this?
You will find it registered and in order. You realize what this means?
Yes, of course.
Yes, once certified and committed to an institution, a person is beyond the jurisdiction of the courts. Not even the law can touch Willowden now.
Well, there's nothing more we can do.
You got away with it.
Wow.
And now, if you'll excuse us,
Nothing
Inspector,
those
it's been an
meddling
agonizing
kids
ordeal
could do
for Mrs.
about it.
Willowden, and she has to rise early in the morning for the funeral.
Inspector, is it a terrible thing to hope?
Don't want to tell him that we
There will be
anybody
more
we sent him
murders
off to
in
the
one
insane asylum, so we're having a funeral for him.
Dr. Willowden was...
Well, I guess that'll be a closed
law.
casket funeral.
His guilt or innocence could never be proved. But strangely enough, The slaughter in Whitechapel ended that night. Jack the Ripper never claimed another victim.
Is it strange?
But what of Walter Durst? How does one explain his gift of precognition, his ability to foretell the future?
Yeah, how do
could
you
he
explain
foresee
that?
in such detail the victims and the circumstances surrounding their deaths?
How could he
He'd
have
never
seen
any of the women involved.
such detail?
He'd never even been to the places where they met their death. And most of all, how was he able to lead the police to a man he did not even know existed?
How is he able to lead the police to a man he did
There
not
is
even
no
know existed?
explanation known to us. But this we do know. On that night, over 70 years ago, ended a reign of terror unlike any known before or since.
Ooh.
Please join me again
Wow.
for another journey into the world of the unexplainable, which lies...
So that was it? I don't know
behind
why,
the veil.
but for some reason, I thought I remembered that as a kid ending much differently. I don't know what... I don't know. When I was a kid, I thought there was some more wild twist to it, but I guess not. Yep, Clifford Evans. I was right. He's in a Hammer horror movie called Curse of the Werewolf, which is a lot of fun. Check it out. Yeah, I think that was this episode was actually produced in Britain. I think it's different. I don't know. There might have been some different production stuff going on with this one.
Well, very interesting.
So that was Jack the Ripper. And even though... What were you going to say?
Well, I wanted to look it up just to make sure Walter Durst isn't a real person.
No, I was going to say, as he's saying all this, I was just like, God damn, I know this is all bullshit. Oh, like...
Yeah. Although I did think that name sounded familiar. It turns out Walter Durst is a character from my D&D game I'm playing.
Okay.
Kind of a little quinky dink there.
That is a weird little coincidence, isn't it? Little weird synchronicity. That's a very specific name, though. Walter Durst. Weird.
He's the worst.
He is the worst. Well, I don't know. For some reason, my memory of this episode was that he was actually Jack the Ripper, or that his wife was really Jack the Ripper. I don't know. I thought there was some wild, out of left field thing with the ending.
You're telling me Jack the Ripper was a pile of books this whole time?
Even that would have been preferable. Like, you know, I don't care how you have to make it work, what the logic is. You can figure something out. Yeah, it was a little... Oh, yeah, he's some insane guy. We sent him off to the asylum. That's not really... I mean... Do we know, and Evan, I imagine you can look it up quickly, who the prime suspect in the Jack the Ripper murders was? Because I'm not... I've listened to a podcast about it, but I don't remember much about it outside the gruesomeness.
Well, Jack the Ripper Prime Suspect is a TV movie from 2011,
yeah,
so that's not
about
very
right.
helpful.
Yeah, it's not helpful. That's not surprising, though.
Okay. Here's an article from science.org. That sounds
it'll work.
That sounds like a good authority, maybe. It says forensic scientists say they have finally fingered the identity of Jack the Ripper.
Wait, what? What'd you say? Have finally what?
Fingered the identity.
That's how they wrote it? Fingered the identity?
That's how they wrote it.
Ugh. All right, continue.
It says genetic tests published this week, and this is an article from 2009, huh? Or sorry, 2019.
Oh.
It says genetic tests point to Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber and prime police suspect.
A Polish barber? You tell me it wasn't some...
So Sweeney Todd was real.
Yeah, I guess so. Wouldn't that, well, it would make a lot of sense, right? If that it was a barber, you know, somebody that's skilled with a razor.
Yeah, someone who does a fair amount of ripping. I don't know what barbers do, but
I mean,
I imagine ripping is involved.
Past Dr. Barber times, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, Victorian times.
Was
I think
that still Dr.
Might,
Barber time?
It might still be prime Dr. Barber time.
Which, if you only know that from, like, what is that? Flapjack? Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Isn't it Dr. Barber? Is that Dr. Barber?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's very creepy and kind of talks like
right. Well,
Boris
like
Karloff
every character
or one
in
of
that
these.
show is very creepy.
Yeah, every character is, but he's particularly like talks slow and like, you know, does that kind of Vincent Price, Boris Karloff thing in a way. It's really creepy. But no, that was a real thing, was that doctors were also barbers, or barbers were also doctors. I don't know how it works, but
maybe they had been kind of phased out by this time.
I think they were. I figured they
may
had
have been a little bit after.
Who knows? Maybe he had some kind of medical training. That's what the police always hypothesized about Jack the Ripper, which is why.
Yeah,
because that was always the thing, right? He's always a
you
surgeon.
go to school, you get your gen ed credits. You just pick up a few skills.
Everybody's pre-med, right?
Right.
Oh God, yeah. So I don't know. It's all things considered, still like a fun episode, you know. Classic The Veil, and also classic The Veil. Even though Boris Karloff said to please join him again next week, I don't think he'll even be hosting next week's episode. Yeah.
Did my prediction come true? Are we gonna open next time on just an empty chair?
Might be, yeah. So I think next week's episode is like what was basically a backdoor pilot for the show. It was like a kind of a paranormal type story that aired on some kind of other anthology show, or some kind of, it was more not like it was more some kind of just general anthology show. And then it was like, check out this creepy episode, it's gonna be for a show called The Veil. And then at a certain point, Karloff comes along, and the rest is...
He attached the star power.
Yeah, well, I mean, he really did. If we've learned anything tonight, tonight's episode didn't have that star power, and that's the one thing you can say about Karloff and the rest of this show, is he certainly brought the star power.
Well, it's too bad. Goodbye, Boris. Been nice knowing you.
Goodbye, Boris. It's been nice. Yes, it has. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see how next week's episode is. I've never seen it before, so I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be good. I don't know if it's gonna be bad. That's the fun of it.
Join us next week to find out.
And you can also join us this Friday for another episode of The Mainstream. We're going to be watching a little Poverty Row film called King of the Zombies. And as always, Evan is bringing us another delightful cocktail to pair with the evening's film. I believe another Scream Stream original in a little segment which we call...
Yes, technically. The segment is called What Were You Drinking? This week's drink is well, you can have it my way this week, because we're having the King Zombie cocktail. This is a spin on the zombie, which we have had previously on the show. but we're having, you know, having a little bit of fun with it. So this is light rum, some gold rum, pineapple juice, lemon juice, lime juice, some grapefruit juice, some simple syrup, some bitters, and some Crown Royale with a sprig of mint. So ask me why I picked Crown Royale.
Hey Evan, why'd you pick Crown Royale?
Because of the crown, obviously. King Zombie.
Wow, that is so cool.
Just in case you couldn't figure that out.
I did a long time after you sent me the recipe. I finally put it together, and I was like, wow, that's cool. King Zombie, I get it.
Right. So yeah, it has nothing to do with the flavor profile of Crown Royale. I have no idea. I'm not with the International Bar Association, so no idea how this is gonna taste. It's probably gonna be pretty good, but we'll see.
I think it sounds delicious. I think the substitutions that you are making are gonna make it a new and interesting thing in and of itself. I think the other substitution that you're making is so you're putting in grapefruit juice, right? Instead of
yes. The recipe calls for passion fruit, I think syrup or maybe juice, but good luck finding that. I've looked around.
Wouldn't it, you couldn't find that and you did like agave or something, or?
Yeah, I think I have done that at one point, and right. I seem to remember also accidentally getting cranberry juice instead of grapefruit juice one time, but to be honest, these drinks can run together.
That's what I couldn't remember, because it was the agave I remembered, and it was the grapefruit juice. Certainly I remembered, because I was a little butthurt about the grapefruit juice.
Garrett's not too keen on cranberries.
I'm not a big cranberry juice guy, and I was just like, this drink would be so much better with grapefruit juice. So I'm glad to see.
Well, here we go. Here's my shot at redemption. Hopefully, I will buy the right juice this time.
You fucking good.
I might just get cranberry juice again just to fuck with you.
Oh my God, Evan, you classic Evan. I hope not. Please don't. No, I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a delicious cocktail. And if you didn't catch all those ingredients, you can find them over on our Instagram page at Scream Stream Show. That's also our Twitter handle at Scream Stream Show. You can find all of our past episodes over on our YouTube page. Just look us up. We don't have one of those handles yet, but we're getting one soon. They released announcement, and everybody's going to be getting handles soon. So hopefully our URL will be easier to read on the show. It's not just a random combination of letters and numbers and symbols.
So thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, really, really appreciate that from YouTube. So, but yeah.
It looks like Christmas came early.
It really did. I'm very excited about that. So you can follow us at Scream Stream Show on the socials. You can go check our past episodes. Anything, Evan, before we sign off?
I guess we'll just tip our... Wait, what? No, I lost it.
Yeah, I lost it.
We're out of here.
We're out of here. Join us on Friday for the Scream Stream, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Twitch. Until then, we're out of here. Sweet screams, everybody.
You all a good fright.